can't destroy what I really am. Even if you manage to kill this body, someone even stronger would surface and take my place. Not one death will go unaccounted for. Not one!
Alright, this time we are scaling the Blob, one who is known as the biggest robot in Five Nights at Freddy's. In this video, we'll break down the Blob's inverse, his feats, why some claims are misleading, and where he realistically scales based on what we know. He has easily the highest, or at least close to, physical stats out of any animatronic. Unfortunately, his screen time is limited, so his feats are also limited as a result of that. Luckily, he has inverse from the animatronics in him, such as Funtime Freddy, Mangle, Chica, Bonnie, and many others. All of these characters have shown feats ranging from wall to wall plus, so the minimum is basically everyone else's maximum. Next, his feats. Throughout the game, we see evidence of him digging holes throughout the Pizzaplex, both inside it and in areas around it. For what purpose was he doing this? As we know, it was to collapse the Pizzaplex above it. By compromising the structural integrity of the earth around the Pizzaplex, he disturbed it enough that it eventually fell into the cave below, collapsing in a huge freak accident that was compared to an earthquake in this newspaper. There is a common misconception in this community where people claim that the newspaper was comparing the Blob himself to an earthquake. However, this couldn't be more wrong. Firstly, the writers of the newspaper have no idea who the Blob is, so they couldn't write about him. What they are comparing to an earthquake is the destruction left behind by the aftermath of the collapse. The destruction was caused by, essentially, the AP, attack potency, of the Pizzaplex, or rather its kinetic energy, made up of its mass and accelerated by gravity, causing this cave-in of everything in and around the place. In reality, the Pizzaplex caving into the cave caused what is called a collapse earthquake and isn't related to the shifting of tectonic plates. Granted, this would be assuming that an actual earthquake occurred, registering on the Richter scale. If it was a real earthquake, collapse quakes are considered very minor and can be caused by human activities such as excavating mines, which is essentially what the Blob was doing. Either way, it doesn't affect the scale, as the impact of the Pizzaplex collapsing had nothing to do with the Blob. The Blob indirectly caused the collapse. Indirect feats do not qualify for AP. What he did was similar to how building demolition occurs, by weakening certain key parts of the building to cause a collapse. Do these individual explosive charges in the video have large building level AP? Of course not. Individually, they have maybe wall level AP. Over time also doesn't count for AP, unless you are counting individual impacts that later contributed to a larger feat, such as the original robots in the Twisted Ones novels. AP, or attack potency, is how much energy you can inflict as quickly as possible via a strike, charge, or any other form of actual attack. This feat meets none of those rules. It is neither done directly, nor is it done quickly. However, we can use the tunneling itself for something. It is essentially the pulling, dislodging, and displacement of soil and earth. This is a lifting strength feat. If it was done very quickly, with each couple meters being quote-unquote dug through, in a way similar to a punch, it would count for AP. However, this isn't likely, given the large time frame in which it occurred. We are able to view these different holes made by the Blob at many points in the game, showing that they are made within the time frame of the game, and not quickly enough for us to not be able to observe it. Also, if he were striking the ground with such force, it would have been noticed by the people above, as it would have caused the force to travel upwards and shake the building. It was done in near complete silence, likely to avoid detection and prevent any interference with his plans. In any case, this feat is unquantifiable due to missing certain on-screen values. Lifting strength measures how much force a character can exert, calculated using mass and acceleration. Since we don't see the Blobs digging in action, we don't have those numbers. we don't see the individual mass displaced with every quote-unquote dig into the wall, and we can't find the acceleration value, which involves a change in velocity from initial to final for each dig or stroke in the cave. So finally, where does he likely scale? Given his weight, the animatronics inside of him, and his being above wall-to-wall plus people such as Burntrap, he has a good argument for small building. His feats don't demand anything else higher, nor is there any basis for anything higher. Anything more would be pure speculation and not a viable scale. Anyways, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think his lifting strength is in the comments. It's almost entirely theoretical, but based on Monty's bucket feat, class 50 is the absolute lowest it could possibly be, but it's most likely higher. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.